Hello and welcome to this video brought to you by the Lowest Art. My name is Emmanuel Okafo and I hope you guys are doing well and had a wonderful weekend. In this video, which is going to be like a show and tell, I will kind of be going through how I created this vest. I just thought the techniques which I use will probably be useful to some of you. So if you're interested in that, you stay tuned. Also, some bonus content by the end of it. I will also be showing you kind of behind the scene of my recent little animation which I just uploaded, so you can check that out. I think is the video after this one or before, depending on how you want to look at it. This is a recent work which I just finished. It was inspired by the movie Shang-chi. So apart from kind of trying to get the likeness, which it's close enough, it's not perfect, but I was kind of happy with mostly the technical aspect of kind of getting the skin right. I used Udemy for this particular project to be able to get quite high details for the close-ups. Used like about an 8K texture for this. So for the technical aspect, I was quite happy about this. But what I was really excited for was kind of recreating the vest. And it would have been easier if I just had to kind of create it without animation. But I also intended on animating it, so it added another level of complexity. So creating all this panel on top of the clothes, you can see how it looks without it. So I had to make sure they deform perfectly with the underlying clothes. So I will show you that. So we can see it's deforming nicely, and I will kind of explain and go through the technique of how I did that. So I'll just clean up the scene a bit. The camera and the depth of field. Okay, so basically I first created of course I had some reference which I will show you guys now. Just let it open up. Okay, so these are all the references which I kind of used for this artwork, and you get your reference. It will greatly help. Looking at this particular design of this cloth, it looks quite intimidating because of the complexity. You can see the different patterns or the panels and all kind of lots of stuff. The design is quite simple but yet complex, so it's something that I was kind of excited to do. So using the reference, I kind of broke it down into different levels to make it easy for myself to recreate. So I started with the inner clothes. So I'll just wanna hide this. So I started modeling the inner shirt. I didn't need to kind of model everything because it just a little part of it will show. So I just modeled those parts I needed, and then I just created a normal long sleeve shirt for the outer part. I will explain why this is subdivided a lot. So I modeled the outer part just like a normal cloth, and then just created this. So the complexity starts with all the panels which I had to model piece by piece. For this, I basically just got this image inside Blender and traced it out with the empty. So you can add that by going to add reference image. So you just add the reference image and place it inside Blender. So I traced that, and after I've traced it, I use modifier to kind of use the shrink wrap. One tool which I used, which Blender, it's up Blender too, but this really cool tool which I created. So I'll show you guys how it looks and works. So like I said, this is just more of a show and tell. So if you're kind of interested in how I put this project together, you can kind of keep watching. If you're looking like for a step-by-step stuff, this is probably not what you see. So the tool which I created, it's combination of a lot of modifiers that Blender offers. So for example, if I select this, and the tool is Retopomat. So this is a tool you can find on Blender Market, but that's not the point. The point is basically I did a quick shrink wrap. It will allow you select. So what's the name of this? It's called shared. So quick shrink wrap. So it's going to project it as usual. So then you have a lot of parameters to play with. So you can kind of pull it outwards. You can kind of adjust it. It's great for asset projection, as you can see. Then if you add the Retopomat, you have access to kind of playing with the thickness, which you can see access here. So we'll flip the normals, and so this is basically how I created it. So after tracing it, then I just extruded it using the solidify modifier. And likewise, this is basically for most of this I had to kind of retopology style trace out all the patterns till it looked like I wanted. I took some design liberty in certain aspects that I could not see well from the reference. So from the reference, most of the panels were quite thin to kind of waste my time to model, especially the complexity it will add if I want to animate it later. So I decided to do that in texture painting and shading, which I will be showing you guys next. So let's go to the node setup. I'll just enable the lights. Okay. So here I'm going to break down the node for you guys. It's not really complicated per se, but okay, let's see. It's quite noisy, but we'll try. So let's start from the displacement. So the displacement is made up of 2 levels. So 3 levels actually. So we'll first have just this simple pattern of this grayscale image which I downloaded on Google, and then try to make it seamless. So after I've played with the values, then I used texture painting to paint in more panels. So these are just basically masks which I use as displacement, and also as a mask also to drive colors. So after I've done this, I also created another mask for this particular part that is it's darkened, and also use that mask to separate the texture. It didn't really work well for this part, but at least I got that darkening effect. So after I did that, then I connected it to displacement texture. For this I used the adaptive displacement, so I could actually physically displace the geometry during render time. So it's not looking so well here because it's just heavy and it's bump map, but in render it's actually extruding out the geometry. So that's basically how I did that. And for the color, it's just simple using mask, combining just different effects. Okay, something very cool is this kind of material to kind of get it look like this, because this is not just a simple diffuse color. It's using a layer weight node, which I kind of played with the balances, and then use the mix node to kind of get this effect. So this is how it's looked. And then I added another pattern on top because I wanted to break down. I didn't want it to just be even. So it's just slowly building it up. So this is the mask I was talking about earlier. Just add that extra color. I made it darker. So I brought everything. So this is the mask which I created and used another texture as a subtraction. So this is the initial texture, and then using subtract, I can subtract this particular image and have this. So this is just some more sharpen to bring out the details, and then bring everything back together. For these clothes, it used like some metallic properties. It had some metallic properties, and something that I try using for the first time was the coat. So this nice shining effect that's kind of, I like how it looks. As you can see, it just keeps shifting. Losing my words. Part of that is the roughness. So if I cut this, you can see the difference. So I use the roughness to just isolate it to the tip of this geometry here, and then the coat was used to add like that extra reflection. So if I turn it off, you can see how it looks now. Then I use the coat to just add that extra level, and that's basically how it all came together. I mean, this is the tutorial is not well organized, but I hope you guys kind of get what I was trying to show. Yeah, so it's just a combination of mask, few modeling, and textures, different patterns to bring it all together. Of course, having a good UVs help with others to make it organized to work with. So something I also said I was going to tell you, show you guys, was how I made it to all deform nicely. You can see everything just works, because this is an important factor. If you just have the patterns, especially since they are real geometries, you need them to work. So after creating it, I made sure that all the subdivisions are quite even. So everything is quite even and kind of neatly modeled, so that when it can deform nicely with the underlying cloth. I actually planned on using this blender modifier, which is the surface deform, but this modifier is very unreliable, which was a bummer. But what I did is basically, after I did the usual select geometry and this and Control P, automatic weight, and then I've projected geometry and cleaned the underlining this geometry up. I've finished cleaning up all the weights. Then that's when I will tell this geometry to copy the weights of the underlying geometry. So I've done a tutorial on that before. So it's basically using the data transfer. So you just basically select a source. So once you have the source, you select the data you want to collect. So I want to collect the vertex color. You leave this as normal, and you just click on generate data. And once it generates the data, then you can go in, add your armature, and add a specific rig you want to deform it, and that's all. And it will help, since it's projected, it's like the weights are projected onto it, so it just works. So that's the technique which I use to kind of make it work, basically. I didn't have to do that manually, of course. I used another tool which I created, which is Pupa, and that's kind of the system I used to rig this character. I will show you guys in a bit what's happening here. So this character, I could for some shots, like my favorite shot in the recent animation, which was the one that the animation seemed a bit more polished. It was basically created with Pupa, so I just did search for look. So you just apply the animation, because this is a rigify rig, even though I had added some bones. So I'll just let the animation load. Okay, so once I have the animation, it'll say playing. Then what you do next is another tool that comes with Pupa that helps you quickly fix motion capture data. So set this local and set start. I'll turn off this asymmetry, and you can just easily reposition all of this. Actually, the animation was created in one day, just today. That was what I spent my whole Sunday doing. So having lots of tools really helped with that. So basically, you just, once you're done posing, can select the parts which you posed, and click on lock route. Forgot to add keyframe for this, and it just stays like that, so you can kind of tweak any part. So basically this is how I use this is what I use to kind of create creates the project faster. And I added some more simple controllers for other parts of the face. The face was just basically designed to create custom projects, custom expressions. So it's not really a typical face rig. Like if you go closer, you have a particular bone for smile, frown. So it's like, then you have one for like just the blink. This is for the brows. It's for squint. I don't really use this one. Then you have little vowel sounds, and you have the mouth open. Yeah, you don't want to combine them. Okay, so that's basically how I put on this project quickly. I don't know if this is a helpful content, but yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment. If you want to see a specific tutorial based off this topic and you want me to go more in depth in that aspect, you let me know in the comments. I will happily do that for you guys. So thank you again for watching. You know, this video is all over the place, but yeah, it's content. Bye bye, have a wonderful week, see you next time.